Welcome back to the meal prep series. It's been a while, I do apologize, but we're back with a banger. This one right here is beef bulgogi. It's a Korean beef dish. It's traditionally made with beef fillet or steak thinly sliced, but we are going to be using beef mince or ground beef just to make it a little bit easier and cheaper as well. This one tastes absolutely delicious, so let's get straight into it.
We're going to start off by making our bulgogi sauce. What I have here is one red shallot. Just trim it up, remove the skins, save these all for a stock, and then roughly chop it. Doesn't have to be fine because it's all going in a blender. We're also going to do the same thing with 3 cloves of freshly peeled garlic. Just roughly chop them, as well as 20 grams of ginger that's been peeled, again roughly chopped. Also, if you don't have a blender, this can be done in a mortar and pestle. Once you have that done, transfer it over to a blender bowl or a mortar and pestle, whichever one you're using. Add in 20 milliliters of vegetable or peanut oil, 5 milliliters of sesame oil, 80 milliliters of low sodium soy sauce, 20 grams of gochujang, which is Korean spice paste. It's easily available in any supermarket, 20 grams of brown sugar. This is optional and I know it's a little bit controversial, but it does add beautiful flavor. 2 grams of dried chili flakes, and then just hit it up with a little bit of salt and ground white pepper. Just keep in mind though about adding the salt, don't add too much, just do it to taste because the soy sauce does contain sodium. Now what we're going to do is blend this up on high speed just until it's a coarse paste. If you're doing this by hand, it will take a little bit longer, but you should get the same results. And what you're looking for is something that looks like this that can then be popped aside for the time being. Next, we're going to need 8 spring onions or scallions. Just separate the white roots from the green stems. We're going to roughly chop the white roots. These are going to be stir-fried off with some broccoli. And with the green stems, just thinly sliced. They're going to be used as a garnish. You don't have to do it, but it's a good way to minimize waste. Like I said before, we're going to be making a broccoli and spring onion stir fry, so we're going to need 2 heads of broccoli. Just trim off the florets from around that stem, trim off the bottom of the stem as it's really woody, then trim up those florets into bite-sized pieces, making sure they are the same size, that way they'll cook at the same rate. And I'm also going to trim up that stem. It contains a lot of nutrients, it has a beautiful sweet flavor, and you don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I highly recommend doing so. Now with the prep out of the way, we can get onto cooking. Place a large saucepan onto your stovetop, add in 300 grams of washed jasmine rice, along with 500 milliliters of cold water, a nice big pinch of salt as well, then bring this up to a boil over a high heat. Place it on a lid, and we're going to reduce the heat to low and cook this for about 12 minutes undisturbed. With the rice now cooking, we can do everything else in the meantime. Place a large high-rimmed pan or pot over a medium-high heat. Add in 1 tablespoon of vegetable or peanut oil along with 1 kilo of beef mince or ground beef. This has a fat percentage of about 10%. You can use a higher fat cut if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it if you're trying to watch the calories, especially doing meal prep. And what we're going to do with this is cook this for 5 minutes, breaking it up in the process, along with hitting it up with some salt and pepper. Again, watch the sodium levels because of the soy sauce that will be going in. And then just continue mixing this around until it's completely browned off. This should take about 5 minutes until you're left with something that looks like this. There's no more water in it, there's no fat. That's exactly what we want, and we don't want this to overcook because it will become dry. Once you have that done, add in that bulgogi sauce that we made at the beginning. Just going to stir this through, cook this for 1 minute over a medium heat. We just want those flavors to become friends, everything to be incorporated. You should have something that looks like this. Once you do have that, this can be removed from the stovetop, set aside, and then we have the nutrition facts right here. And I hope you like these new cards. Let me know in the comments. Moving on, place a large wok or pan over a high heat, add in 1 tablespoon of vegetable or peanut oil, then add in the broccoli, along with a nice big pinch of salt as well as ground white pepper. And we're going to stir fry this for about 4 to 5 minutes, mixing it around pretty much the whole time. And what we're looking for here is that nice char smoky flavor and that color as well. You can blanch them by putting them in boiling water, then shocking them in cold water to keep that color, but I don't like that for this type of recipe. Now after 5 minutes, add in the spring onion or scallion, stir fry this for roughly 2 minutes just to get a little bit of a slight bite on it, then we can turn this off the heat, add in 5 milliliters of sesame oil for that nice nutty flavor, mix this around, make sure all of those flavors have become friends, then we can remove this from the stovetop. And this right here is the broccoli and spring onion stir fry nutrition facts, and it is calculated for 1 portion. Going back to the rice, this has been cooking for 12 minutes. Turn it off the heat, but leave the lid on for a final 5 minutes. Before removing that, then fluff this up with a fork or a spatula. You'll have that beautiful, soft, fluffy rice. It will come straight off the bottom of the pan. This can then be removed from the stovetop, and we have the nutrition facts for the jasmine rice. Now as for serving up, you can serve this any way you like. I'm using the 750 milliliter containers from Lovelli, which you're pretty much used to by now. There is a link in the description if you're interested. I like to place the rice on one end, the broccoli and spring onion stir fry in the middle, and then that bulgogi beef on the other end. Garnish it up with some sesame seeds as well as the spring onion stems that we cut up before. But with that all done, we're left with this beautiful beef bulgogi that's a really filling dish. It's delicious in flavor, and this right here is the complete dish, and that is for 1 portion.
Now, once we have everything done, we can place on the lids. These will last up to 3 days in the fridge and 4 months in the freezer. As for reheating, put them in a microwave or do it in a pan and create a little stir fry, but it's up to you how you want to do it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, really does help me out and helps the channel be seen by more people, and consider subscribing along with hitting the bell notification next to it so you never miss when I upload, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.